Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'll be previewing the Eagles versus the Rams, the divisional round matchup. It's on Sunday at 3 o'clock, and it is a very exciting game, of course, for all Eagles fans such as myself. In today's video, I'll be breaking down the game, letting you know who's hurt, who I think is going to win, how they match up, what Vegas thinks, and more, but just stick around. Starting off with a little bit of history, these two teams did play this year. Is actually just about 2 months ago, middle of November. The Eagles dominated the Rams. It was not even close. It was 37-20. Saquon Barkley killed him. AJ Brown killed him. Wasn't competitive at all. Unfortunately for Eagles fans, I don't think this is how it's going to go this time around. The Rams defense since that game has been much, much better. The Rams defense has kept teams under 10 points 3 of the past 4 weeks, including last week against the Vikings in a blowout. The Eagles, on the other hand, have been pretty good the entire year, other than the Tampa Bay game. They've been a lockdown defense other than the Commanders game, and the offense just gets enough done with Saquon Barkley. As far as some new injuries, what is there? So the Rams, they have their tight end Higbee. He had a chest injury. He's coughing up blood. He's questionable, but it seems likely that he's going to play. A lot of their other injuries are people who have been IR for a long time. It's a lot of people on their defensive line, but they've been out for like a month now, and their defense has been really good. So, honestly, not even going to mention them. The Eagles on the other side of the ball have, I would say, 2 main injuries. One, AJ Brown. He's been hurt for about a month, maybe 2 months since the Steelers game. There was a hip drop tackle, and ever since then, his knee hasn't been at 100%. He's been missing a bunch of practice. Doesn't quite look the same. He only had 1 catch for 10 yards in the past game, even though you could argue a lot of that's on Jalen Hurts. But he will play for sure. He rested a few days this week. He is all good to go. But unfortunately, the second big injury for the Eagles, Nakobe Dean, of course, he's out for the year. And honestly, he's likely out for most of next year. This is a huge injury. He's a very good linebacker. He was just really turning up the heat. He was hitting his stride, but he's out for the year, out for next year. So who will replace him? There's Trotter Jr., who is, of course, a lot of Eagles fans like him. He is a rookie. He's very instinctive, but he hasn't ever played at all. The other option is Oren Burks. He is one of the best number 3 linebackers in the NFL. He's a lot of experience, but not a lot of experience starting. He's not a good number 2 linebacker in the NFL. He's a good number 3. Unfortunately, he may be moved into number 2. There has been some talk from Vic Fangio that they're going to rotate between the two to keep them both fresh, since they do also play special teams. But this could be a huge thing to look at, because there's now finally a hole in the Eagles defense that has been dominant for most of the season. Up next, what does Vegas think will happen? Vegas has the Eagles as a 6.5 point favorite. That's a pretty big favorite. It's plus 270 if you want to bet on the Rams. Last time I checked, and that it's a pretty large favorite for a playoff game. Lots of times you see more like 2 or 3 or 4 points, but 6.5, that's a lot. So Vegas thinks there's a chance this game isn't close. And the over-under is 43.5 points, so that's pretty average for an NFL game. They think some points will be scored, but not a ridiculous amount. Now on to how do these two teams match up. So looking back at last week, they had a bunch of sacks against the Vikings. However, the Vikings' offensive line played very bad, and Sam Darnold held the ball for a long time, and the running game wouldn't get going. And I don't think at least 2 of those 3 things will happen for the Eagles, because their Eagles' offensive line is going to play much, much, much better, because the Eagles' offensive line is very good. And Saquon Barkley is going to get the ball, 20 to 30 times this game, and he's going to run all over him again unless they stop him. There is a chance that the Rams will load the box, do everything they can, shut down Saquon Barkley, let Jalen Hurts beat you. There have been 2 real games when Saquon did get shut down. It was against the Browns and against the Steelers. And those 2 games, those were the 2 games where Jalen Hurts put up some big passing yards and had some big performances. So it is definitely possible that the Eagles win this game through the air with AJ Brown and Devontae Smith and Dallas Goedert, who had a big week last week. As far as how the Rams defense is just in general, I would say it is above average in passing and rushing. A little bit weaker in the rushing game because their defensive line are pass rush specialists. They can really get after the quarterback, not the best against the run. So you could really see the Eagles exploit this, and unless the Rams just sell out against the run and hope for the best. As far as the Eagles offense, of course, best rushing offense in the NFL, and the passing game just doesn't make mistakes. Early on in the year, Jalen Hurts was trying too much. Now he does it, and we've won all the times. That seems to be how we do things. Everyone's freaking out. Everyone's like, oh, I want the offense to look prettier. It doesn't matter at this point. The Eagles have been amazing all year. They just blew out a good Packers team in the playoffs. So, yes, if the Eagles just score 22 points and win by 12, almost 19, I'm fine with that. And I think more Eagles fans should be fine with that as well. Now, how can this Rams defense actually shut down this Eagles offense? This is how I see it happening. They sell out against Saquon Barkely first. You shut him down. Then the pass rush gets to Jalen Hurts, gets on his nerves. He gets a little desperate, throws an interception or two. That's how I see them stopping the Eagles. However, that's a lot easier said than done. Saquon Barkley had over 2,000 yards in the regular season. A lot of teams tried to stop him. A lot of teams failed. And honestly, I don't think the Rams are going to stop him. I feel better going into this game than I did into the Packers game. Now the opposite side of the ball, the Rams offense versus the Eagles defense. Eagles defense, as we know, best defense in the NFL. We'll have to see how they adjust to this glaring injury at linebacker, but still, having 10 of your 11 guys is pretty good for the divisional round of the playoffs. It's going to hurt, but I think they can overcome, and I think Vic Fangio is a specialist at going against this McVay system for years. For the past 5 to 10 years, however long Sean McVay's been a head coach, Vic Fangio has been owning him again and again, and I don't know if Sean can even really coach an offense that exploits Vic Fangio, because he's kind of his kryptonite, it seems. I don't want to talk all this trash about the Rams and then have the Eagles lose. It could happen any given Sunday. I give it like a 2 out of 10 times or something, the Rams win. That's not often, but that is still 2 out of 10. It's totally possible. But the Rams do have a legitimate offense. Yes, they haven't put up that many points this year. They've only put up 22 points per game this year. It's actually less points than they've allowed. They have a negative point differential. But it is Matthew Stafford. He's not a Hall of Fame quarterback. Let's be honest, he's not. But a very, very good, a very good quarterback. And Sean McVay, who've been together for years. They've won a Super Bowl together. They have Puka Nakua, a top 10 wide receiver in the NFL. Cooper Kupp, a former great wide receiver. He's still pretty good. And then a very good running back of Kyren Williams, who has almost as many yards as Saquon Barkley has in the second half. Not quite there yet, but almost. And how do the Rams beat this Eagles offense? Well, the first thing is they go after that linebacker position. Yes, that's the obvious one. The second is Puka Nakua and Cooper Kupp, especially Puka Nakua. Break tackles, make big plays, make splash plays, score on a long play. I don't see them grinding all the way down the field. I think they need splash plays to score on this defense or get short fields from Eagles turnovers. If the Rams can put up some points, I wouldn't be surprised if the Eagles struggle to keep up, because this Rams defense is legitimate. Then finally, Jake Elliott, the Eagles kicker, still not very good. He hasn't been good all year. Rams kicker's fine. He's not amazing, but he's fine. But it is worth noting the Eagles do have kicker problems. He missed an extra point. And they didn't trust him to kick like a 56-yarder in the fourth quarter. So this is something to be aware of. Nakobe Dean's the biggest concern. Jake Elliott's the second biggest concern. And I guess third's the passing offense not doing anything. But I'm honestly not too concerned about the passing offense because, well, they've won this entire year without it. So, anyways, what is my prediction? I think the Eagles are going to win 31 to 24, but I think the Rams are going to score the last touchdown pretty late in the fourth quarter. I think going into the fourth, at least going into like 10 minutes left in the fourth, the Eagles will pretty clearly have won this game, and we'll be moving on to play probably the Lions in the championship game. What are your thoughts on the game? Leave them down in the description, comment section down below. Subscribe for more content and like the video, and I will see you later.